was wondering if you three felt like going and killing a legend.
Yes. Well, researching it, and then, if it needs to die, it needs
Have
to
you
die.
forgotten we are already on such a task? What is the timetable you require?
Well, soon.
When are we supposed to meet with our...
Well, we talked to him yesterday. He said in 3 days, so I'm assuming we've got like maybe 2 days before we're supposed to be in the mountains or in the caves.
So I guess the real question, my friends, is how long will it take to bring down a god?
Probably pretty long, but we can at least do some legwork between now and when we have to do this other thing. We'll knock out the other thing, then we'll go, kill a god or whatever.
I think we can have it done by brunch tomorrow.
Weldon,
Now I want a mimosa.
the more I speak with you, the more I like you. Bassan has written this for you, and he starts going, na 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 na, Weldon, na 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 na, and he does his little thrumming and beating, showing off his chant. He's been excited and trembling with like wanting to share this new chant that's been written.
Okay.
That's my gift to you and for trade for your dragon horn. Thank you. I couldn't remember if it was a tooth, a fang, or a horn. I already forgot.
Yeah, whatever it was. One of those.
Yeah.
Okay.
The dragon horn.
Well, he. So are you giving him a copy of the chant, or are you performing the chant?
I'm performing the chant. I can't give him a copy. It'll end up in the garbage.
All right.
You can't spread. I cannot.
All right.
I cannot entrust such wonderful powers to just some man, even if he is a great dragon slayer.
Okay. He appears to enjoy it. Again, he gets.
Of course he does.
The audience to clap along or dance along or whatever the heck the audience does. Yeah. Okay. So he says, "I've got a few errands to run here in town, but." What do you say? And it's still like it's about noon, maybe at the latest right now. He says, "What do you say? Meet back here. Meet outside this building in 2 hours.
Sounds good.
Any gear you may need, go for it. Any loved ones you want to say goodbye to, do that too. You never know what's going to happen.
It has been a while since I've seen Tira and Iona. Bassan, take note. I miss them." Clearly, you see a little glint of sadness in his eyes.
He puts his hand on your shoulder and he says, "We've all got some loved ones that we haven't seen in a long time. So I want you to make sure that you get out of here alive. Sound good?"
I agree with that, but then maybe taking on a deity is probably
before
dinner is probably not the best thing.
I don't think it's a deity between you and me. I think it's just a big monster that bleeds, so that means you can kill it.
Fair enough.
All right. So I'm going to go get this taken care of. And he points at the big dead dragon. And he says, "I'm going to get some gear, some food, and let's meet back up."
Sounds good.
He raises both of his hands in a big high five. Everybody.
Bassan, and he gets an invisible high five.
Whoa. All right. So he high fives everybody and bids farewell to all of the customers and goes on his way. He's like dragging the big dragon.
He's dragging the dragon.
Dragging the dragon behind his back.
As he walks away, he says, "May the blessing of the Sun Father be with you."
Yeah, you too.
Yeah, whatever.
So he goes and he leaves. And yeah, so you guys got a couple hours. What do you guys want to do before heading out on a hunt?
Jorman is going to do his community service, I guess, and seek out either homeless children or like an orphanage. Is there one in town?
That's a good question. Yeah. I rolled a 15.
He's gonna seek out this orphanage, and him and Bassan are gonna put on a performance for the children.
Okay.
He does chants, he does beats, he shows off these spectacular sparkles and fireworks and all this stuff, and really tries to entertain them.
Okay.
And the 30 gold that was in there, did we separate that, or one of you carrying it?
I tossed it to you. I don't know if we wanted to like divvy it up or anything like that.
So I guess that's up to you.
Does Jorman have it all?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I just tossed it to you for the children.
Yeah. So he meets with a lovely nun, long.
There's none.
There's Father.
Don't make a habit out of that.
Oh goodness,
that's good. I like that.
All right.
He looks for somebody that's in charge of the area and says, "This is my gift to you. Ensure that these children are taken care of through adulthood, because 30 gold should go a really long way."
Oh goodness, 30 gold. That's like
yeah. That's a small fortune.
Covers everyone for months.
So he pulls it out and gives them the entire satchel.
The nun breaks down crying at your generosity.
The generosity of the Valsoon clan is legendary, and now you know why. And he begins talking about the generosity and chanting of the greatness of the Valsoon clan.
Meanwhile, Wardin
the nun says, "Okay, in that case, here you go," and she hands it back. No. So she takes it. All the kids come out and listen to you tell the story of the generosity of the Valsoon clan.
And now apparently my party is going to learn that they should not be trusting Jormund with the money because he's a little too generous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even have any money in my inventory. There's nothing.
Wardin's going to spend the 2 hours writing a letter to her mother back in whatever that south city was that her mother's still in, and also buying some food to take with her for the next few days.
Okay.
Pip is gonna be like kind of going through all of his gear and stuff like that. He's very excited to be on like a real monster hunt. So like he's nervously keeps going to Wardin. He's like, "Do you think this is good? Should I wear it like this, or should I bring 100 feet of rope, or like just 50? What do you think?"
And Wardin just keeps asking ridiculous questions that somehow apply. He says, "Well, do you think that you'll be able to get on top of its head if you wear it like that?"
It's like, I think I'm pretty good at climbing. I think I can
What
handle
if
it.
it breathes fire? Do you think that'll be okay if it breathes fire on you?
He like kind of rubs his beard. He's like, "Well, I could use a good shave, maybe."
And I think the more rope we have, the better. So if you can bring a few 100 feet of rope, that'd be fine.
Oh. Right. Okay. Yeah. So he starts like pulling out more rope out of his trunk. Mm-hmm. And starts like rapping. So like he's basically gonna be like covered in rope and climbing spikes, and he puts his climbing boots on and everything. So he's just like short dwarf fellow, but he is very wide with gear.
Okay. All right. So so you guys get all your stuff together. Wardin, you were sending out some stuff to your mother? Or, yeah.
Just basically saying, like, hey, if I die, this is where I went.
Okay. So you guys get back together, and you meet up outside the tavern, and you see that... I was calling him Walden, but Justin, you said Weldon enough, and I actually kind of like Weldon better.
I did write down Walden. I just can't read my crappy penmanship.
So Walden or Weldon, who knows what his name is. It's
my accent.
There you go. So he's outside the tavern. He has a wagon, like a covered wagon, with a couple heavy war horses driving it. And he has actually Pip. He is dressed very similar to you. He's got climbing spikes. He's got his climbing boots. He's got rope around his arm. He's got all. He looks like he went through kind of the same process you did.
He's like Pip is sort of like looks at him, looks down at himself, and his like chest kind of comes out of it. He's like very proud of himself.
He points at the harness that you've got, and he's like, "Yeah, that's so you can climb on top of it if you have to."
Right.
Wardin's basically just got a whole bunch of books hanging off of her and strapped to her in various places.
He points at the books and he says, "You might not have time to read those, but you
these
might."
aren't for reading; these are for writing in.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah, we're gonna hunt it, and she's gonna be telling. He's telling the stories, and she's getting all down to good information about them monsters.
Well, if it breathes fire, you might lose those books.
True, but
we'll find out.
I think I can take care of them.
Okay, all right. Well, hop inside, and he gestures to the covered part of the wagon.
This is why chants are superior to just text, because if I lose a song, it'll be forever remembered in those that I've sang it to.
Yeah, but if you die, then you can't sing them to anybody. And if I die, these texts live on.
Not if they burn up with your corpse.
Not if you burn up with your corpse.
Excellent point. Pass on, make note.
Become immune to fire.
Work in progress.
So, Wardin, you hop into the wagon, and you almost hit your head on a ballista.
Yes.
That's in the covered part of the wagon.
Good. I am happy with this.
Next to the ballista, you see he has a few, like, maybe javelins or whatever like equivalent sized ammunition you'd fire out of it.
Sure.
And you also see a very long, possibly several lengths of chain. Nice. So like a giant pile of chain sitting next to this ballista. So and Walden yells back, "Oh yeah, watch out! There's some stuff back there. Don't hit your head on it."
Don't touch anything.
So everybody else hops in, I imagine.
Yeah, I don't hit my head.
Okay.
Jorman.
Jorman, give me a dexterity saving throw.
10.
Okay, you hit your head on a ballista.
Bassan, why did you not alert me of that? No, I told you to keep an eye out for stuff. No. Yes.
Bassan shrugs, but you can't see it. Well, that's actually a good question. Can you see Bassan?
No, he's still invisible. You can
Okay,
see him
okay.
at the moment he's summoned for like an instant, and then he's just invisible.
Okay.
Though I probably could put like a vest on him or something.
Probably.
You could cast light
add
on him.
It would add to Bassan's his weight limit though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what is it, like 5 pounds for
That's
one of those
something
guys?
Very low.
Okay, so
He only carries a drum. It's a
So-
small one, like a tambourine size.
there you go. So you guys hop in, and Walden says, "Well, say goodbye to the town because we may not make it back." And
Bye, town.
he waves to everybody. Everybody cheers as he heads out. And I'll say that he has part of the dragon. Like you figure most of it's probably getting tanned or something like that. But he had a hat made out of like the dragon's horns, and he's wearing it. And then as you guys are heading out of town, he actually takes it off, and then he throws the hat out into the crowd. And one of the kids from the orphanage catches it and puts it on.
Look at that. I taught little Billy that. He wanted to become an adventurer just like us. And I mentioned your greatness, and obviously he's now a fan.
So you guys head out into the mountains.
As we do,
Yep.
you got to have entertainment. So Jorman and Bassan start singing. Was it Weldon? I already forgot.
I'll say
Walden.
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 I'll put my foot down. It's Walden.
It's Walden. He says, you start hearing, oh, Walden. Oh, throughout as they're leaving.
So yeah, everybody joins in as
Of
you
course
guys
they
are
do.
as you guys are leaving, and so yeah, you head out in this wagon out into the mountains, and it's starting to snow. It was the previous day had been pretty like crisp and pretty clear, but this day it started out pretty overcast, and as you guys are going through the mountains, that you start to see big old flakes of snow coming down. So it's reducing visibility a little bit. But even with the reduced visibility, you guys are looking out over the mountains. You can see now that you're out of the big shadow of the town. The sun is nice, makes you feel like alive being out here, and the air smells fresh. You get a big old breath of that icy cold mountain air. It feels good. Also feels really cold. You don't want to breathe too much of it. But
Yeah, hold your breath.
right after following the road for a little while, the wagon understandably has to go off-road a bit. So it gets a little rocky. And I want...
Jorman is getting kind of upset because the rockiness is messing up his beat to his chants.
That's why you got to change your beat to match the rockiness. I'm actually...
The beat of the mountains.
I'm going to make a roll for Walden. Okay. So you get the impression after a little while that you might have been going in circles. And then you hear Walden yell back, "Sorry, I got a little turned around there, but we're back on track." And again, the road gets bumpy, the ground gets bumpy again.
Pip's gonna go up to the front of the wagon. He puts his hood up to block his eyes from the sun, and he's like, "You need some help."
Well, it's not even the sun; it's the reflection of just all the light everywhere off the snow.
Yeah, snow blindness.
Yeah. So give me a survival check.
Well, I will say that my favorite terrain is the mountains.
There you go. So you know these mountains pretty well. You
Yeah.
probably know them better than Walden does.
Man, even with advantage, geez. 9.
Okay.
That's snow blindness.
Yeah.
There's a rock over there.
You hit a rock that you're pretty sure you guys hit like 20 minutes ago.
Dang.
So you lose a little bit of time, but you eventually are able to find where Walden thinks, like he brings the wagon to a stop eventually.
I will say that the favorite terrain technically says you cannot get lost other than by magical means.
Well, my mistake then.
But I mean I don't know. I didn't want to.
Okay.
I didn't
Well,
want to take away from.
No. It's fine. So it's not that you got lost. It's that you don't know if there's a way that you can get the wagon up to where Walden wanted to get
Sure,
the wagon
yeah.
to. So instead, you managed to navigate to a like a cliff that he wanted to be like a little bit higher up, but you can't. Unfortunately, you don't think you can get there unless you were to take the ballista off the wagon and then whatever,
Carry it up.
and then carry it up.
Piece by piece.
But Walden sets up. He manages to get the ballista aimed off the cliff, and then he pulls out a spyglass and he looks through it. He looks out into the nothingness as far as you can see because it's just there's so much snow, and he looks for a little while and he says, "All right, I think we found it."
You found what?
Well, I was out here last night and I found tracks of what I think is what we're looking for. And I tracked it to this area. I knew it had to have a lair somewhere. I found there is a cave on the other side of this little crevice here. And it looks to be big enough. The entrance is about, he does some gesture with his hands. He says probably about 30 or 40 feet tall. I've seen tracks go in and out of it. And I've seen tracks go around this area. I think that is its lair. So the plan that I came up with is I'm going to set up the ballista here, aiming at the cave. It's a little hard to see, but I can see it well enough. So I want the three of you to go in and try to either scare it out or lure it out. Now this is dangerous, of course. If you don't feel up to the challenge, you don't feel up to the challenge. But if you are careful, I think that you can at least get its attention and then get out here without getting too close to it.
How big is the cave?
So the entrance to the cave is about 30, 40 feet tall.
We could just smoke it out. Back in the Volsoon clan, when we were hunting monsters, if they dwelled inside a cave, as long as it needs to breathe, you start a large fire in front and push the smoke into the interior, fleshing out your foe.
Okay.
Yes, I told him, Bassan.
Do you know how long that would take? This is me out of game.
It depends on the size of the cave. So
I'm trying to figure out how we would push the smoke in. I mean, prestidigitation can only do so much.
No, but my friend, it is easy to make big fan.
In a 30-foot opening, though.
Yeah.
That seems.
You make big fire.
Well, we should at least try and get in there and see if the beast is even at home.
I can start fire and smoke, and you can.
Well, we don't want there to be a fire keeping our smoke blocking us in.
I'll leave a small opening. Just a thought. I have no problem conquering the foes, but sometimes you have to do it smartly. Yes, Bassan, I'm reiterating what you're saying. Bassan thinks it would be foolish to just charge into a foe's territory.
We ain't gonna be charging in, right? We just gotta sneak in there real quiet, I think.
I don't do sneak well.
Well, it's up to you guys. You can, if you want to, that there is probably a monster somewhere in that cave. It's up to you guys how you want to get it out of there, or if you want to just go in and fight it.
What time of day is it?
It's late afternoon, and it's going to be getting dark pretty soon.
Okay.
Think about it. If we smoke them out, we can stand atop the cave and prepare for the assault when it releases. You, Pip, are you using bow and arrow or some other?
He brandishes a couple what look like sharpened climbing spikes, and he sort of twirls those a little bit.
Imagine how quickly you could get atop of it if you just jumped from up here as it emerges from its den.
Well, I could try and I could check the tracks and see where it's been, how long it's been since it's been here, if it's still here.
Yeah, I think I'm with Pip. We have no way of knowing if the creature's actually in there right now, unless we can determine from tracks leading in or out. Or I say we just lie in wait and see whether it comes or goes in the next few hours. And if it doesn't, then maybe we head in. If it does show up, then we know what to do at that point, whether it's leaving or coming back.
Yeah.
Wonderful, Pip. I know this is your area of expertise. Are you able to determine if we get close enough at the last time it came or went?
I can give it a shot.
That's all I can
Okay.
ask.
You're able to, I won't make you roll for it. You're able to get to the cave easily enough just by going around the edge of the crevice. So yeah, you're able to get to the entrance. Give me an investigation check to, and with whatever favored terrain stuff you have to see if you can determine how recently it has been through here.
Survival check?
Sorry, my mistake. Survival. Go ahead and make survival whenever you would like.
And you did say that this thing is a monstrosity.
You think so?
All right.
That's a great response.
Go ahead and use whatever bonuses you get from that.
A total of a 20.
Okay. You notice some very, very large tracks. You figure that going by the footprints alone, you figure that this thing probably is at least huge size category.
Oh boy.
Is this like the Godzilla scene where we're all standing in the track, but we don't realize it, but he does?
Maybe. And
I don't see the track, Pip.
you see there's quite a few tracks going in and out. And you also notice that there's enough wear around the edges of the cave that you think that this thing probably does go in and out of this thing often, and probably for a long period of time. So this thing probably does live in this cave. Whether this is the only entrance or exit, that's to be determined. But the most recent tracks you can find go into the cave, and they appear to be maybe 12 hours old.
Okay.
What can you tell us, Pip?
Well, he grabs a bit of the dirt and snow in his hand and rubs it around and he sniffs it and tastes it.
There was some poop in there.
There's a bit of his lunch in there. Well, he's definitely been here a lot, and more than likely he's still in there. But it's been a while since he's come through this way, about half a day. So you don't know if he's gonna be asleep or on his way, waking up. But he's quite big. He's a big fella.
So if you guys are opposed to smoking him out, do you think we could lure him out? What would you say his dietary preferences are?
How did that poo taste?
Veggie.
Give me another survival check.
Yeah.
For most people, I would just say bad.
Bad.
But
That's another 20.
okay. 20 total or 20?
20 total.
Okay.
20 total.
You think that it is a carnivore?
Not a lot of roughage in there. So
Well, actually, sorry, an omnivore, but primarily meat.
Sure.
slight hints of bark, but mostly meat.
Well, yes, Bassan, I recall. I have an ancient ancestor who was a master of hunting, and he often used odors to lure his prey to a trap. Could I use prestidigitation and start filling the area with odor that would attract him?
Meat smell.
That's a good question, because I like prestidigitation for this sort of use. However, I don't know how much of a scent you'd be able to create. Tell it, give me a spellcasting ability score check and see
A what?
like whatever your charisma
Like an
check.
arcana? Oh, my spellcasting.
Yeah,
Okay.
so yeah.
10.
Okay. You begin to try to create like the smell of fresh meat, but you think that because of how big the cave is and also like it's windy and it's snowing, you don't think that you doubt that it would get very far into the cave.
Yes, Bassan, I'm aware that it is not working.
If you went into the cave and got closer to the beast, you would, and also out of the wind, you would probably have a better time doing that. But from where you are, it's not doesn't look viable.
Pip, Wardin and Pimp.
Pippin ain't easy.
I mean,
So,
It's hard out here for a pip.
I thought that it might be, Bassan gave me some good advice about attempting to fill this with the delicious scent of meat per your words there, Pip, but it seems the wind and is carrying it away. If we moved in farther, I might be able to lure it out, but it wouldn't be lured out to the front of the cave, but to where we were at.
well, we can try to get as close as we can without it noticing us, and we can use your meat bit to lure it further, and then we can, try to run our way out, leaving a scent behind us.
Well, I can also do the same thing. I have prestidigitation. I can create a secondary, source of the smell. So if one of us goes deep in there, we can create a smell to get it towards the entrance and then have, more to lure it further out of the cave. I don't know.
That's a wonderful idea, Wardin. Was that in one of your books?
Nope, that was in my brain.
It was very good.
Can prestidigitation, can you make like something stink?
Yes, that's the ability, is to create smell.
It doesn't say exactly like you have to target a thing. It just says you can create a sensory effect.
And it lasts for
And
up to
odor
an
is an
hour.
example.
Yeah.
So, well, we can cast it as much as we want, and it lasts up
It'll
to.
last for
You can have three different effects or three of the same effect active at a time.
Okay.
Yeah, so we can stink this place up.
So here's what we do. You guys stay closer to the outside of the cave, right? You make me smell real nice. I'll get in there. I'll sneak in as close as I can, see if I can get its attention, and then book it the hell out of there.
So, I'll ask him Bassan. So, what you're saying is you want us to create the odor around you?
Yeah, that's about right. I mean, you know,
I
eat my share of meat, so I don't mind smelling like it for a
Wardin,
bit.
I think we can do that.
Yep.
This is hunting. You gotta
No,
put
I'm not
yourself
saying
in
that,
harm's way
Bassan.
sometimes.
I understand. I think this is as good as any. The next question would be, what sort of trap can we set if
Well,
it succeeds?
We've got the ballista with the chains and all that.
right, we're trying to get it out there.
And I'm going to, slight retcon, I'm going to say that Wardin gave you guys a whistle. And he said, when it is coming out of the cave, whistle. So that he knows
To get ready.
to get ready.
Yeah. So, so I'll like...
Yeah, so look, as I'm getting closer to the edge of the cave, I'll signal to you guys. I'll probably be screaming to blow the whistle, and hopefully Wardin will do his job.
Pip, that sounds like a fantastic idea.
Pip's sort of sweating a little bit, even though it's cold out. He's like he looks nervous, but he's determined.
Well, I think that we have a plan. Is that true?
I think so. What do you make of all this, Wardin?
I think it sounds good to me.
All right, right. She's the brains, so I'll trust her on that.
All right, so at this point, we're going to transition to a skill challenge. So for listeners, what a skill challenge is the party as a whole has to succeed on a certain number of skills before they fail a certain number of skills. So let's say, this isn't necessarily the number, but let's say they have to make 4 successes before they make 2 failures. Now the party can decide amongst themselves what it is they want to do. They can choose really whatever skill they think makes sense. They will say to me what it is they want to do, what skill they want to use, and then whether I think, depending on whether I think that will be easy for them to do with that skill or hard, I will assign a DC for it. So like a target number. So then once they make enough successes without making too many failures, they win. If they don't make enough successes, if they make too many failures, then they lose. Now, I'll say in this particular situation, enough failures means that the monster finds you and attacks you. So and then we'll go into combat at that point. But if you succeed, you're going to be able to draw the monster out. So I have set in my mind how many successes you need to make before how many failures. I also have some target DCs in mind. So with your characters going into the cave to either smoke out the monster or lure out the monster or scare out the monster, what do you guys want to do to get it out of there?
All right. So the idea was to make me
Stink
smell
you.
of meat.
Mm-hmm.
I'll go in. I'll basically go in the deepest into the cave, find the monster, and then get its attention enough to where it can catch this my scent, and then I'll start luring it out of the cave. And then I guess as I get closer to you guys, you can start making a ruckus to get more of its attention.
Yeah. Once we hear you, then we'd whistle to let Wardin know to get ready. And we can do whatever else we want to do to try and get its attention to draw it further and further out of the cave if chasing you isn't enough.
Right.
I noticed that, Pip, you have brought plenty of hempen rope. Should we consider making a tripwire?
I was thinking about that, a tripwire or maybe a pit trap, but I think this thing's probably too big for a pit trap.
Yeah.
But
You have to have
tripwire's
a
not
pretty
bad.
big pit.
Yeah.
But a tripwire might be able enough to slow it down a bit.
Yeah.
Cause it to stumble.
Yeah, just so it doesn't catch up to me.
You're a dwarf. You're pretty short. We could put it above your head,
That's
and
true.
it would
could
be
just
still
run
probably
right
be
under it.
shin height, for
That's
this
true.
thing.
That's true. So we could try to set up something just to kind of slow it down a bit, just in case it does catch up to me. Because I am a dwarf, so I'm not as fast as most things.
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to ask, is the cave sloping downward or is it sloping up? Because if it's sloping up, you're going to be running back down.
Ooh.
But if it's the other way, you're going to be running up.
That's a good question.
Yeah.
For the most part, it's about level,
Okay.
but you are up in the mountains, so there's probably parts where it goes down.
A few things of note. I'm going to be going in with no light.
I can cast light on you if you want.
Pip doesn't like light.
Okay.
He prefers the darkness.
Okay.
He's quite comfortable in the caves.
So like Pip's got dark vision. He has extended dark vision,
Nice.
and he also cannot be seen by things with dark vision if they're relying on dark vision to see him.
Yeah. So if dark vision is the only sense that can see him, he is invisible to it.
Wow. Nice.
That is very powerful and a very interesting
Yeah.
trick that you can do.
Yeah, it's so he like story wise, I've had Pip spend a lot of his time in darkness and caves and like hunting things and stuff like that. What you're giggling?
I'm sorry. I'm flipping through this book, and there's a monster called the Doppelrat.
The Doppelrat?
And it's
That the tome?
yeah, the Tome of Beast, and that sounds adorable. I love rats.
Is it a rat that can change itself to look like other rats?
I think. Oh no, it multiplies into multiple rats.
A rat that becomes a swarm.
Sorry. Jeff saw the look on my face that I get whenever I see a rat in something.
Yeah, that's true.
So
that was that face.
That's the rat face.
Rat face.
So, my friends, I think that there might be some other additional prep that would be willing to make. Bassan has pointed out a few things that my ancestors recommend. He starts kind of chanting in an ancient language. He draws a circle into a pentagram into the ground, and then in the very center is the sword crossing the sun, and he says, "Mimir, the wise ancestor, give me sight beyond sight. Magi Irken," and he's going to cast detect magic as a ritual.
Okay.
And see if there's any remnants of magic, as this beast has been coming in and out of here a lot. I'd like to see if there's any magic in the air. So as he chants and completes his chant, you see this blue giant specter of this robed figure with long hair and a massive white beard, and he opens this massive tome in front of him, and light begins to radiate from it. As he lowers it down to Jorman's face, the energy rushes into his eyes, creating a rush of blue and swirl of purple and blues in his eyes.
There you go. That's detect magic for you. So you cast a spell, and you feel your senses begin to see beyond the material world, and you do not see any lingering magic. Trying to think I don't suppose any of your characters have anything magic on them, do they? I don't think so.
No.
My familiar?
Is your familiar with you?
Yeah.
It's an owl?
Yeah.
You do notice some lingering magic on Wardin's familiar, but beyond that, nothing else magical around here.
All right. So I figure our plan is to lure it out to a certain point, lure it into the tripwire, and then it just basically just trying to get this thing to chase me out of the cave.
Okay. So so setting up the tripwire.
Yeah.
Do you want that to be
A skill check?
a skill check?
Yeah, sure, I guess.
Okay. So
Don't
who is?
roll a 1.
So I'll because using rope isn't actually a skill in this edition.
Right.
I'm gonna say it is just a flat dexterity check.
Okay.
So whoever wants to make that.
Anyone got more than a +2?
If you got a +2, that'd be you.
Okay.
My friend, I have an ancient ancestor that might be able to assist.
Oh, yeah.
He turns to Bassan and he says, "Bassan, who do you recommend?" And he begins chanting a quick word in ancient Volderic language. And his eyes glow and energy rushes into you. And a brief insight from a deep voice inside rushes through you to help assist with this. And I will grant him the help action.
Okay. So you have advantage.
Okay. So we're starting now?
Yep.
All right. So that's going to be a 3 + 2 or a 10 + 2.
Okay.
Now I would like to, if possible, try to put this rope up like near the entrance to the cave so that basically if it's going to trip out of the cave and be laying on the ground where we can get a good shot at it.
Sure. And I will tell you that was a success.
Okay.
However, you can't you only do that once. You can't be like, oh, okay, shoot, we'll just
Keep doing it.
do a whole bunch more of these. It's-
Yeah, no.
certain things you can only do a certain number of times. So that
Absolutely.
one,
Sure.
that one was a success, but that was the only rope related
Sure,
success
yeah.
you can get.
Like,
All right.
I'm sure the monster is smart enough to not be fooled twice, maybe.
Now, do we need to? Do we feel like we both need to stink up our friend over here, or should one of us stink him up and the other one can de-stink us?
Oh yeah. Can you like hide
mask our scent?
your scent?
Wardin, that is a wonderful idea. Bassan, what do you think about that? He actually says that that would actually be good if we make ourselves smell like stone or rock.
Yeah.
The area around us.
Surround us with the smell of wet earth.
Yeah.
No, they're not. I'm not doing that.
Poopies.
You hit it right on the head, Pip. Bassan recommends covering us in our own feces and stuff, so we're easily
not your own feces
of the beast.
Yeah.
well feces of critters.
Yeah.
Covering ourselves in
There's
feces.
that option. Thank you, Besson. Or
just smell of dirt.
if you want to make a skill check, I can use like Arcana to try and manipulate the rules of prestidigitation to mask our scent. Is that
Go for
fair?
it. Yeah.
Okay. It's gonna be a +5, so 16.
Okay. That is another success. And similarly, because you wouldn't be able to do that again, because it's like, well, we'll make Jeff smell really like meat. You know, we'll smell
Right.
really like rocks.
Sure.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So there's 2 successes, 0 failures.
So, yes, Bassan. Interesting. Bassan has an interesting idea. Correct me, Wardin, but you are a mage of the most highest caliber, correct?
Absolutely.
Bassan says that our ancient ancestor, Vancia, once set a trap by blowing a chunk of stone and collapsing a tunnel atop of a foe. Is that something that's within the realm of possibility for you? Could you ready a powerful attack?
I have nothing that's going to cause a cave-in. However, I do have a few powerful attacks that we could use if things get out of hand. I've got a few tricks up my sleeve.
Okay. He also recommends that Are you sure? According to my ancestors, we could maybe summon forth a Bancia. It's a terrifying visage that could hopefully distract the foe long enough to allow to hopefully distract it so that it'll increase your chance of the stumbling at the edge of the cave where the rope is. Like a jump, like a spook.
A jump scare.
Yeah, something along those lines.
We all hide behind rocks and go, "Bah."
In a hopes that when it reaches towards the rope, that it will be more distracted by said scary visage of this creature, as opposed to
looking where it's going.
yes.
I like it.
You have your unseen servant playing the drums, and like the beat gets faster and faster and faster, and then it stops, and then we jump out and scare. Pip's gonna, I guess I'm gonna have to find my way to where the beast is in the cave, so he's gonna start like tracking his way in there.
Okay. So
from a mechanical standpoint, what that would be is I would like to ready my Bane spell.
Okay.
And then when it's within sight, cast it, and that way
I
they get
see.
a D4 penalty to its save and
Okay.
roll and all that sort of stuff.
Sure.
Ooh, and I'm going to have my Owl Grace ready to, like, fly up into its eyes and try and distract it a bit. You know, try and, I don't know.
I think
Mess with it.
yeah. Okay.
Okay. So first, let's deal with Pip, because he would need to actually draw it out before you guys can do that.
Yeah.
So, all right. So Pip, go ahead and make me a survival check.
Okay. Would I still get advantage on this one?
Yeah, if it's within your favorite terrain.
I take that back. Grace is going with him so I can see through Grace's eyes.
Oh, okay.
That's a good use of that. I like that.
That's another 20. I keep rolling 16s.
Yeah.
Yep, that's a success. So, Pip, you manage to locate the beast.
The beast.
The first thing that hits you is the smell. It smells of sweat and rotting meat and something stale. But when you see it, it's a hulking shape, curled up in a large alcove in the cavern wall. And you see amidst its armor-like scales, You see giant fangs, razor-sharp claws, a long spiky tail, and I don't know, maybe some horns, maybe a frill, who knows. You can't really tell from where you're standing, but it looks like it's asleep. You can hear it breathing, and you can see its scaly chest rise and fall. You can see its eyelids flicker, but you don't know if it's deep asleep or if it's awake and putting on a show in case you want to get a little bit closer to it. You can't tell if this thing walks on 2 legs or 4. The tracks you've been following so far could be either. It looks really big and it looks really nasty.
Really big and nasty.
Yeah.
Is it red? Because I'd be devastated if it wasn't red like every Dragon's Horde monster.
It is. It's sort of a brownish.
Hard.
Well, wait a minute.
Hard to
Sorry,
tell with
sorry.
dark vision.
It's in the dark,
Yeah.
so you don't know what color.
Yeah,
it
hard
is. It is gray.
Hard to. It is gray.
Well, actually, I will say,
it is
where
many shades.
where it is in the cave, it's not completely dark. There are like
Dim
holes in
light.
the ceiling or whatever, so there's like light that is shining in from above.
Okay. Pip is going to do his best to stay as much in the dark as possible.
It's like when you're watching a movie and they're in like a pitch black cave, so it's actually pretty well lit.
Yeah, there's a lot of like box lights, floodlights, and stuff. Guess I could just try and like attack it and get its attention.
Oh yeah, you could do that.
I'm gonna throw a rock at it.
Okay.
So I'm gonna I'll find myself a big rock, or I'll throw a rock near its head. I won't throw a rock directly at it. I'll see.
Okay.
Just to kind of like see like is it fully asleep? Is it how easy will I be able to get its attention?
Sure. Are you trying to wake it up, or are you trying to determine whether it is asleep or not?
I mean,
if it's asleep, do you want it to stay asleep?
I mean, I'm trying. Well, I want to see like if it wakes up, it wakes up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll deal with the consequences there. But I'm mostly just saying like how asleep is it? Like if I throw a rock directly at it, that'll probably wake it up, but it might make it angrier than I really want it to be. I more just want it to like go like, well, what was that?
Okay.
But if it doesn't, if it stays asleep, then I know okay, it's in deeper sleep. I might have to do something else.
Okay. Give me a ranged attack roll
Okay. It's throwing, so I can use my strength, right?
if you want to.
18.
Okay.
Or nope, 2 more than that. 20. Forgot about. Or no, wait. Would I get? I wouldn't get proficiency of throwing a rock, would I? No.
I guess not.
It's an improvised
Yeah.
throwing weapon. So yeah, 18.
Okay. You throw a rock.
Uh-huh.
It's another success. So you hit part of, there's like a little rock outcropping near it. You grab your rock. You like gauge the distance. You gauge, so you picture in your head like the arc that it's going to make, because you don't want it to hit horizontally, because if you hit horizontally, it's going to make a different sound than if, for example, a rock were falling from above naturally. Sure. So you arc it. It flies across the room. It hits a rock near this monster, and you see the monster's eye pop open and look around. So either it was already awake and it was like listening for something, or you have woken it up and it's a little bit on guard right now. So like it is peeking around.
Okay.
However, give me this is not going to be towards the skill challenge. Give me a knowledge. Shoot, what would be the skill for like determining information about a monstrosity?
Monstrosity, it would either be nature or arcana, depending on the monstrosity.
Give me a nature check.
Okay. Because like some monstrosities are much more like they were created by magic. Like a chimera was made by Demogorgon or something.
Okay.
He wasn't interested enough in the animals that existed, so he made his own by combining them.
Yeah.
13.
Okay. You get the impression that it's based on its eyesight. You think this thing does not have dark vision.
Okay.
So it lives in a dark place because it's safe, but like number 1, you would not be invisible to this thing. But also number 2, that means that if it's dark, this thing is taking penalties.
Sure. I mean, I'd be as invisible as somebody standing in darkness.
Sure.
Which, I mean,
that's pretty good.
It's technically this, well, condition-wise, stat-wise, I think is around the same, because it's like you're considered blinded towards that individual. But anyway.
So yeah, it is awake.
It is awake, but it is what I can tell it can't see me at all.
Right.
All right, so I'm just a very smelly individual. So,
Do you want Grace to hoot?
all right, so I am going to back off a bit,
Okay.
and I will try to like put myself in like dim light, just to see if it can catch a sight of me. But like I'm gonna try and like start easing my way out of the cave, but try to like, make enough noise and movement to where it's a little bit more alert to my presence.
Okay. Give me a stealth check.
Sure. Ew. 11. Nope. 10.
That would be a failure. So, it sees you.
Uh-huh.
It leaps to its feet.
Uh-huh.
Two of them, let's say. And then it starts running in your direction.
Oh.
So, I mean, the skill challenge isn't lost. You've only
Right.
made one failure and you've made 4 successes.
Sure.
So, so this thing is now running in your direction.
Uh-huh.
You guys can probably hear that it has started moving.
Yeah, and I'm going to
So
say
what does
out
everybody
loud
wanna do?
from seeing through Grace's eyes, it sees him.
And I mean, to be fair, it running after you is kind of what you wanted.
Right, yeah,
But
yeah.
the failures and such is more to determine whether it gets to attack you.
Right.
Sure.
So,
Right, yeah.
what? Who wants to do something next to?
I mean, I'm going to
Resolve
start
this.
I'm going to start running.
Mhm.
Is that just a given?
I figured.
Okay. All right.
We can have it go to battle right now if you wanted to.
I also have proficiency in athletics. If you,
I was say if he's running away, that would
Okay,
be a
is
good
that-
part of the skill challenge. I think.
Is that what you want to do that for the skill challenge?
Yeah, sure. Because I think I'm gonna do pretty well on it.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm gonna try and keep athletics to keep my footing and to stay ahead of it as best I can.
Go for it.
Don't trip.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
That'd be a 23.
Goodness, jeez. All right, yeah, that's a success. You're not out of the woods yet,
Very
but you
dangerous
are.
over short distances.
Your stubby little dwarf legs are they're carrying you as fast as they can.
Yeah.
This thing, it definitely sees you. I mean, it's dark, but it's able to follow you well enough.
Does it smell me?
It definitely smells you.
Yeah.
It's running in search of that meat on legs that is in front of it, but it's chasing after you and it's like snapping at you, but you're able to keep good enough speed.
All right. I yell ahead.
Oi!
I want to make sure. So we know this is going on. I saw it chasing him. I'm going to position myself like to the side of the cave entrance, and basically so that if it does trip, it's going to be between like me and the ballista.
Yeah.
So I want to be near the cave entrance, and while it's running, I want to make sure that I have mage armor up and I'm ready to go in case things get rough.
Sure.
Make sure to blow that whistle.
Jormungandr turns and says, Basan, let us go. And he's going to stand on the other side of the rope with his shield and his warhammer and starts banging on it
Okay.
as he recants a quick epic of great battle against the beast Midgard Sormer.
Okay. Then give me either a performance or intimidation check.
Those are the two that I focused on.
Well, it's up to you.
You're always performing.
23.
So this
True. It's the only setting I come on.
So this beast is chasing after Pip, and it's like snapping at him. Pip like has to like jump at one point to avoid getting bitten by this monster's gigantic jaws. And just when you think it is about to finally get you, Pip, you emerge from the cave entrance. The rope goes right over your head. This thing, it's still running. Jormund jumps out. He's banging on that shield, and it takes the monster by surprise. It's looking at Jormund instead of looking at you, and it comes out, hits that rope. The rope breaks, however, it still trips the thing up. It falls, hits the ground, skids a little bit. What do you guys do?
Hope that what's his name fires the thing. Wardin, fire the thing! Whistle!
There you go. That's what I was waiting for. So you blow the whistle, and you don't even like the wind is or the snow has picked up so much by this point. You're not even 100% sure you even know where Wardin is in relation to you. But you blow the whistle, and then through the snow, you see a flame as something fiery red hot shoots across the chasm. buries itself in the monster's back, and you see that it is his flaming axe, which has a ring on the end that he hooked a chain onto. And this thing now has a flaming axe buried in its back. It's on the ground. What do you guys want to do?
Oh.
I kind of want to cast Enlarge on one of you.
Well, you know what? Let me help you that. As this thing is it like being dragged and it fell over and it's got this hook in it or this giant axe and it's burning? He says, for the Valsung Empire. And he says, Aman Valdir, first warrior king of the Valsing Empire, come forth and grant me your strength. You see this massive blue spectral warrior, big broad shoulders, dual-wielding these giant swords, each in hand. He holds out his hand to the sky, and all of that energy coalesces in like a spiraling circle into his palm, and then he puts his hand into his chest and shoves the orb into his body, and he says, my friends, I've been waiting for this, and I would like to rush and attack the beast.
Go for it.
For those of you that are listening, I just used rage in a very cool sounding way.
Very heavily flavored rage.
Yes. So I assume I'm within melee range and everything.
Oh, yeah.
After the form goes into him, he has his shield in one hand, and he actually ended up just dropping his warhammer, and he runs to its neck and climbs on top of it. And tries to like bash it in the side with its shield and get a good hold on this thing, and I'm going to attempt to grapple it.
Okay.
This thing is so big.
You have advantage
Yes, I do.
with rage, so go ahead.
It's huge.
Yeah. So it gets bonuses to its, or does it?
No, I don't think you can grapple
I think it
anything
has to be
that's too
only
high.
one size category larger.
Well, in this situation, he can.
Okay.
Oh, well, I was going to say we can double check that.
If not, I can make you bigger.
If I'll let him do it for now. Whether he
gonna
can
say-
maintain it once this thing gets back up.
Right. Athletics. 18.
So, despite the fact that this thing is much larger than you, you are able to, for the time being at least, grab onto
Hold
it and hold it in place. And you've got a good hold on it, but you think that once it stands up, you might not. It might be able to push you off. Now, if anybody else in the group had anything that might change that, gosh.
I could either make it smaller or make you bigger.
Either way, I think helps.
I think it'd be easier for us as a group if it were smaller then, right?
Can you make it smaller?
Yeah, enlarge reduces one spell.
It would get a save though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. What is the save?
Your spellcasting modifier.
Well, no, but like,
right?
is it?
Constitution.
Is it Constitution?
Oh,
yeah.
that's unfortunate.
Maybe make him bigger.
Yeah, I'm gonna make you bigger
Because that'll just succeed.
if you're within 30 feet of me. Yeah, I'm just gonna go ahead and cast enlarge and make you large size.
Okay.
Now, I gotta... Did he bring that up before I charged in? Because I think he did.
Yeah.
That he wanted to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay. I mean, I haven't got you guys in rounds.
I was
so...
going to say, he can describe it as I'm running towards him. I grow in size.
Right, like it
Okay.
starts from the
That's what
bottom,
I
like
was
your
going
feet
off.
and legs get bigger and your body just enlarges as you go.
Almost to the size of my ancestor.
You can see like my hand out and there's like a glowing white sort of like light that's like shooting out of it and wrapping around and like growing you in size.
Okay.
So you are, you go to grab this thing, and you realize that you are now almost as big as it. I mean, not almost, but I mean, you're pretty darn big.
large,
You're bigger than you usually
It
are.
looks so much bigger from further away.
And so you grab onto it. I won't even really bother like dealing with damage or anything like that. Basically, you manage to you get it in a chokehold, and you're holding onto it, and then through the air comes another one of those ballista shots straight into that thing's stomach because you're holding it in place. Bury straight in its stomach. So now it's got one in its stomach that's got that fiery axe, and
I imagine you having it like a full Nelson. Like,
Yeah,
like,
well,
yeah!
I was imagining fighting like when the cowboys take down a bull.
Yeah.
They grab him around the horns and,
Oh, sure.
and leverage it. And he said, you hear, can I see Pip?
yeah, they're within
So
20 feet of you.
as he's got him in this I guess this full Nelson with the horns, and does it got horns? Doesn't have horns. You just said lizard, so.
It's in the
Let's
light.
see
It
Can
has
we-
horns.
can we
It
see
has
it?
horns. No, it does not have horns.
Okay,
I
so
rolled
as
a
I've got it, I've got a shield, the shield pinned on it one side, my arm wrapped around it. A big burly abnormal voice comes from Jorman. He looks at over at Pip and shouts at him, "Queen of the Shield Maidens, come forth and lend us your protection, Valkyrie." And you see this spectral form of this warrior maiden with this big wings, a shield in one hand, and a massive spear in the other, kind of floats over top of Pip. And the shield almost as if it's covering him, and the weapon almost alongside of his main hand, and almost in a defensive nurture. You have Bardic Inspiration.
Oh,
There you go.
oh, okay.
So before this encounter ends, what do you want to do to help everything along?
I'm trying to think what would help at this point other than just straight up attacking it.
Do you have more rope?
Yeah, I got like grappling hook
Want to
and
try
rope
and
and
like
stuff.
wrap a rope around its ankles?
Tie it up.
Running around like, yeah.
So yeah, I want to. Okay. Well, he's like, does he have it up like on its hind legs?
Yeah, sure.
All right. So I'm gonna take my grappling hook and rope, try to like get it into its dig it into its like scales on its leg, and then like run around it.
Yeah.
And like gonna do it like a running athletics check to get around. Or
Yeah, give me an athletics check with that Bardic Inspiration.
I mean, I can use it whenever I want, Gabe. I'm the player. I have the agency. No, but I will use that.
You're at my table. You do what I want you to do.
See, I totally wasted it. I rolled really well.
Oh, man. Sucks that you used it then. Oh, well.
So that is 29.
Okay. Yeah, so you it's kicking and fighting against Jorman here. Pip, while you were running around, it's about to just hit you square in the face and knock you off the cliff, but then that Valkyrie flashes into existence for a moment and blocks the attack.
Nailed
And
it.
then you run up, you run between Jorman and its legs. You got your thing, you hook part of the grappling hook into its leg, and you just start running around in a circle, and you wrap up its leg with that rope, and before you know it, its legs are completely stationary,
Yeah.
completely bound. And with that, you see the chains going across the chasm start getting reeled in.
Oh, yeah.
And so
It's a big one.
it gets pulled closer to the edge. When it gets closer to the edge, Jorman, you let go, I imagine.
Do I have to?
I guess you don't have to. So it's getting dragged towards the edge. What do you do, Jorman?
As opposed, he's going to use his effort and start. He's got it in a good grapple. He's going to start helping drag it towards the cliff.
Yeah.
But he's not going to let go at all.
Okay.
So he's helping along but he's not letting go.
Okay.
You guys hear him bellow. I have conquered beasts of greater and more power than you. Midgar Stormer, compared to him, you are nothing. And he gets a nice squeak, and you can kind of feel and see the flexing of his muscles as he squeezes tighter.
Give me another grapple check as you are holding on while...
Contested check?
No, you're not fighting against it. You're fighting to see whether you can hold on when it gets pulled off the cliff so that you don't fall and die.
To make sure I don't fall with it?
Well, I mean, because it's going to get pulled off the cliff, and it's hanging from a chain, and you're holding onto it, so you don't want to...
Oh, I don't want to fall off
you don't
when
wanna,
it goes over the edge.
Yeah. You don't want to lose your grip on it
Yes, right. Okay.
when it's hanging.
I was like, I kind of want to go down with it.
Yeah, no, I understand that. But you don't want to...
I got a 20 on the die.
Okay.
So that gives me a 25.
So, if you don't mind me taking over the narration here,
Have at it.
you can tell that Wardin is like, reeling in the chains. You actually grab onto this thing, lift it over your head, and leap off. And
For the Sun Father.
you
Pile drive it.
You swing across the chasm. You position the monster so that it is in front of you, and it slams against the other side of the other cliff. You're on its back. You're holding on with one hand and raising your other hand in victory, and you hear like the rhythmic sound of a chain being reeled in, and you get pulled over the edge of the cliff, and then Wardin looks up at you, and he goes, "Well, damn, what'd you do?"
The same thing that I do every night, Pinky. Try to take over.
I'm going to end my concentration so he can shrink back down to normal size.
Wow, if you could have done that maybe a minute ago, that would have been great.
Well, yeah, but y'all were talking. I didn't want him to lose his grip on the thing, just in case.
So
We appreciate that.
So he reels in the monster, and you are safe. And the monster, it is unconscious from you having basically slammed with your entire large-sized weight in it. So it is unconscious, and it is still breathing, but it's up on top of this cliff. And Wardin he inspects it, And he says, well, I don't think that is this legendary beast, but still a beast.
Yeah.
Huzzah!
Let's tie it up.
So he whistles to you guys to indicate that you two can, that Pip and Wardin can come back from the other side.
Wardin's not gonna. She's gonna go into the cave and start taking notes on like its lair and its sleeping habits and anything that she can find in there.
Okay.
Is it safe to assume a minute has passed, or
Yeah.
you guys see? It says, "Farewell, warriors, heroes of the new age. Continue weaving epic fables." And you start to see this muscular, giant blue spirit evaporate from Jormund. He says, "Bless Aman Vuldur, first king of the Valsoon Empire."
There you go. So Wardin is still, he has wrapped up some chains around this thing's limbs, just so that if it does wake up, it doesn't start thrashing and kill everybody. And so, yeah, he inspects it, and he says, well, it does appear that this is the creature I was following, but like I said, I don't think that this is the legendary Nazcraig. So it appears that this was a bit of a red herring, I'm afraid.
It's
Still-
actually brown.
Still thank you. Still quite a valiant effort. I consider the three of you monster hunters of the same league as myself.
Oh,
And I'm sure that there will be tales told of this day for many a year. However, it does mean that my journey is not at an end.
Now that we can like inspect this thing, do we know what it is?
Yeah, sure. Give me a nature check.
Bassan. All dead.
21.
You think that it is it is probably a unique creature. You don't think there is a whole like society of these things living out there. It's some sort of a monstrosity, but you know that there's tons and tons of creatures out there that have never been identified. So you think that this is probably just some creature that has adapted to living out here in the mountains. Probably has traveled quite a bit. Wardin did say that he, was following something. So
Didn't adapt
So what
well
should we
enough.
call it?
Yeah. What's it like? Yeah. What should we call it? What's it look like? It's
The Pip Jordine.
Wardin is writing down Pip Jordine in his notes.
hey, we get to name this thing, If it's something that no one's ever really encountered before, it's whatever we want it to be. We're freaking Darwin, and this is like some turtles on an island or something.
while you was tracking it, was this thing like? Was it really on a rampage and destroying things? Is this thing a threat?
He is going to make a check. It's an 11. Well, since you took it down with, let's just say relative ease. I'm not saying that it was easy, but none of you died. I'm going to say that this probably is not as much of a threat as I thought it was. I did record its tracks going through a settlement, but I have no guarantee that it caused the destruction that was there. It may, in fact, be a scavenger that was passing through and eating what it could find.
I kind of picture this thing as like Lizzie, the lizard monster from the
Rampage.
Rampage. That's what it was.
Rampage.
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. Like that, but brown.
Yeah.
We'll call it a brown Lizzie.
Brown Lizzie. I like
Brown
it.
Lizzie. All right. So yeah, unfortunately, it looks like my journey must continue, but doesn't mean for the time being I can't celebrate. Successful hunt, and he raises a fist to us.
to the band of hunters. We call ourselves the band of hunters.
So then Wardin says, I guess the question then is, what should we do with this one? Should we kill it and take its pelt?
Nope.
Should we let it go?
Nope.
Should we eat it?
We should observe it and learn from it.
Very well. Different style of hunting than I am used to, but
How long you suppose it's going to take?
I don't know.
I'll be honest, I'm a little hungry.
I say we can't let it loose again if it was dangerous and causing issues. And I mean, I'm guessing that, from inside its cave, we saw the remains of some types of animals.
yeah,
and things.
you saw bones, but they didn't appear to be human.
Okay. I mean,
if
if it's not dangerous to civilization, there's no point in...
if it's smart enough, it'll probably leave the area anyway.
I agree with Wardin.
Yeah.
Maybe we should let it loose for now. Maybe tag it with something that we were here, so they know
Anyone
who
got
to
a
blame if
Sharpie?
it does go on a rampage of sorts, and can contact us to subdue it.
We'll put a bell on it.
You could, if you,
that's
if you have a
interesting, though.
bell.
We could pierce it in some way if it's got ears or something else that we could pierce and put some sort of
Does it have
something
ears? It does have ears. I
something
rolled
that
a
we
15.
can something that we can market so that if we hear of this thing with a giant metal ring in its ear,
What about one of your pittons, Pip?
What? Oh,
Those are unique to you, are they not?
throw through climbing spikes through the ear, little studs.
It's up to you.
Sure.
Okay. So yeah, you I won't make you roll any checks for it.
we
You put
tag it.
you tag it with a climbing spike, and then you untie. It's like it's still unconscious. Of course, you untie its legs, and just leave it. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, what does Wardin think of this?
Well, it's disappointing, but I mean, it's disappointing that it wasn't what he was looking for. But you don't always have to kill everything you hunt. We were looking for something specific and didn't find it, so I am fine with not having any trophies for this one.
Right. It doesn't seem to be causing any major damage to the surrounding
And
settlements.
also, let me say, no offense, but I didn't really do much. I think the credit goes to clearly my ballista here.
It's a fine piece of machinery you got there.
Oh, well, thank you very much. So yeah, he gets takes all his chains and everything, puts them back in the wagon.
All right.
So looks like a job well done.
So we, I guess we just loosen all the ropes and chains on the beast and head out.
Okay.
And Jorman begins chanting of the great conquerors of old, and how they have slain beasts of massive size all alone by themselves. And he turns and he says, my ancestors could do this by themselves. We have much growth before we're to the level of the greatness of my ancestors. Let me tell you a tale. And he starts going on another chant.
Oh dear. Okay. So yeah, you regale them with another tale of your ancestors as you guys hop in the wagon and head back to Winter's Rest.